Hello YouTube. It's been a long time. I know, it's like an old friend reuniting with an old friend again. Well, 1972 F100 here. Haven't heard much from me, I'll be honest with you. In over a year, pretty close here. Wanted to let you guys know I did get back to my hometown from the last video I let you come back from, and got back to my hometown. Found a good job in my hometown again, so I'm able to stay back here and spend a little more time with my old Ford pickup and the new vehicle that I just bought, and I'll make a video on that a little later as the summer comes around so you guys can see what it is. Other than that, this is of course the 72 F100. Love that badge, Sport Custom. And she's in the shop, you might say, again. Now, like I said, I've been home, had a little more time to devote to it. And since the last update video on this truck I've made, carburetor has been readjusted. So now it runs great, even with the kickdown tube hooked up. And I did have a problem with this truck. I had to put a new oil filter adapter on it. The one I bought for this pickup was a made billet aluminum model, and it was this one right here. What happened was the filter came loose, and when I was driving down the road it spewed oil all over the place. So I thought naturally I'd blown up the motor in the pickup, which would have been a really sad day for me, but I didn't. Fortunately, I was able to save it. And when I tried to put that one back together, the nipple was stripped where the oil filter screws into, so I had to find, fortunately a guy on eBay had one, 60s 428 oil filter adapter, which is the stock original, what should be on the truck anyway. When you do this modification though to these 72 Fords, going from the side saddle to the drop down filters, you'll want to get a smaller oil filter to go on that, because the bigger one that the stock Fords will have hits that cross member, I found out, and then you can strip your oil filter, your new one. But other than that, the other update as of now, it's got a brand new power steering pump on it. I did take the brackets off and paint them and get them all cleaned up, so they look much nicer now than the old oil covered brackets. Today's project, what we're going to be working on, is the power steering gearbox assembly. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a challenging project for me because, in honesty, I'm working all by myself on this, and I've never done one of these, but I know it's heavy and it's a pain in the butt, so we're gonna hopefully get it and not hurt myself doing it in the same time. It also is gonna get a new steering column coupler. As you can see, that other one's kind of trashed right now at this point. So try and do a step-by-step video to document the work. I know my previous step-by-step videos haven't been so good because I get ahead of myself, but we're gonna try it. Now, what I think is gonna end up happening is I'm gonna have to jack the truck up, so obviously I can get underneath it and see what tools I'm gonna need, and hope that take the tire off as well, and hope that it's not going to be too tedious of a project. The new power steering gearbox is in here. This is a Redhead power steering gearbox. I'm going to try these guys out. I heard they're much better than the factory original, and I'm all for upgrades. If we can upgrade better than stock to have better steering, sure can. Here's the steering column coupler from LMC Truck. Hope that fits. I've not had, when I was selling auto parts for about 2 years, I didn't have good luck with these Dormans, to be honest. They say they're a direct fit, but there's a lot of them that come back because they weren't exactly what they said they were. So I'm hoping this is going to work for the 72 and go from there. It looks a lot better, I'll tell you, than that other one, but we'll see what all parts we need. So first we'll get the truck jacked up. Okay, now you guys get to see how much work I have to do. I got the tire pulled off. Good light so you can see better. As you can see, it's kind of a dirty mess under here, thanks to the years of neglect and oil leaks. Top of this power steering gearbox leak, I now have these problems. As you can tell, sorry I got the light in your way, The Rancho shock is brand new. That's the only front suspension mod I've done to this truck that I told you about in previous vids. But now we got problems with the power steering box. So plan is now I'm going to, I believe these are the bolts. That one there, there's a bottom one, and somewhere up in the top there is a, in that oil mess, there should be a upper one that I should be able to see. It should be held on by 3 bolts. So there might be this big one on the side behind this hose there. I don't know if you can see that, but I believe it's that one. But I'm gonna, first what we're gonna do before we get this unbolted or even think of anything is continue cleaning on top of this, but at the same time I'm gonna get that, I have to get that pitman arm cleaned off so I can bust that off. And then looking up to the box in the motor compartment, what I'm gonna do before all that, getting this stuff cleaned off, is get these fittings started, because they will start dripping very soon. There they are. Those 2 fittings, need to get those out of here first. So what you want to do with always fittings is find the correct line wrench. So go over to my marvelous box of tools that I like to call it, and find, I believe it was a 9/16, but if not, we'll try these. Get a good set of line wrenches, or what they're called, tubing wrench, and then we'll try and get them off there. So alright guys, now this part took me a while, but I had to get the pitman arm separated from the tie rod. As you can see, it's hanging low now. The power steering gearbox should get ready to bolt out now as well. I got the, let's see if we can get it. Yep, 2 power steering lines disconnected. And then once we get the, I'm going to figure out the rag joint first before I start unbolting stuff, and we'll go from there. So let's see what happens. Okay guys, I have to apologize again with my how-to videos. I don't really do too good of them, I'll be honest. But I did get the steering box out. As you can see, it's a triangular pattern bolt hole. So any of you guys in these pickups that are doing these, this is how you do it. You also have to unbolt this brake bracket and bend the brake line down a little bit so you have a little more access to the top bolt, because it covers it without that. So they're both, one's a 1/2 inch on the bottom and the other's 9/16 on the top, so it's not too bad to unbolt. And then if you're going to do like what I am, I'm going to clean this out a little bit, because see, I still got a lot of grease in there. Get that cleaned out, and then I won't necessarily paint all of it just yet, because I have some more projects coming for this truck, which you will see in a later date. But for now, what we're doing, like I said, we've got 3 triangular bolt holes, and then the rag joint comes apart in 2 pieces from what I found. So I don't have a light here, my shop light burnt out, but there's the bracket piece for the rag joint. Comes with 2 bolts, 1/2 inch, got to hold on one side, and then the rag joint comes apart. And to get it off of the steering box, there's also a bolt that's like a clamp that holds it on top there, and I'll show you what the rag joint looks like. But there is, speaking of which, the Ford steering box. Interesting tidbit of information about it, which I think is neat, and I'm going to put it back on the new steering box that I have for this truck. This, let me get it up to better light for you, is the original tag that came off this box. This is it's a SPAR, which could be a Ford part number, but on the bottom there, right where my thumb is, it says 1971-80. So the 71 means when it was manufactured, obviously 1971, that they put this on this truck. So I'm going to keep that and put it on the new box. I think it's a neat piece of history. That's how Fords tagged their parts, was with these little tin pieces of metal. So cool idea, I think. A lot of the GM guys, they look for castings in the pump or in the power steering box, but Ford used tags. So that is also an old bracket that bolted to the box right in these 2 bolts, the head as they call it. It holds the brake line, so I'm going to get that cleaned up and paint that so it matches the new box. Now let me show you what the new box looks like. Okay, this is the new power steering box, and as you can see, it's a lot shinier than this one, but it is exactly the same thing. Well, so you think. External wise, yes it is, because it's the same box from Ford, from 60s, 70s cars, I guess, is what these bolted onto. It's got the same, which I'm most important, 3 bolt holes, triangular, like those. And the steering shaft is the same, minus the pitman arm. So what I'm in the process now of doing, I'm going to take this to my local machine shop and have them get the bolt off and take the pitman arm off with the press, or he's got a puller tool. You notice the only thing difference on this from a stock rebuilt one is this has got a red head. Now you wonder, what's the red head for? Red Head is a company out of Washington, I believe, and they make these steering gears remanufactured. Difference is, with these guys, they don't just rebuild them, whereas the Dorman parts, what I used to sell remanufactured, we just put new seals in it and call these good. These guys have taken the time to gut this box out, essentially taking it down to the case and installing needle bearings where necessary on the pivot points, so it conserves on the box wear, and as well your seals aren't going to wear out within a couple of months, what have you, as opposed to if I got a remanufactured one where the seals would wear out. But what I'm going to end up doing, like I said, it's the same box, all stock, but it's got bearings and where they should be, where Ford should have put them in, and didn't do so to cut on shipping cost or on manufacturing, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'll take these 2 bolts off and put the bracket back on and the tag when I get it all taken care of. I might paint it red so it matches it, but I think black would break it up a little bit. So we'll go from there on it, and I'll let you know when we get that pitman arm off and put it on the new one. And as for today, I think that's probably as far as I'm going to get on this truck. A lot of the stuff that you guys don't want to see, I'm going to start cleaning the frame up a little bit and get stuff prepped for it to go back together. Important tip when you're taking this off, just remembered, you want to get this coolant, not the coolant, I'm sorry, the windshield washer fluid bottle out of the way, because how these power steering gearboxes come up is they pull straight up out of the pickup. They don't necessarily come down and pull out like I thought they would drop from the pickup. They actually pull up, and for me it would have been a lot harder to pull it down. I would have had to remove the headers, and that's something I don't really want to do at this point. But if you had to, I guess you could. And just the important, like I said, tip is just to remove that washer bottle, which is right here, and all my washer fluid's drained out of it. So it's not hard to remove. 2 bolts, 7/16 I think is what it is, and it comes out. So I'll stick that back in the truck and we'll clean it up and put it back on later after we get the box done. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this has been a somewhat helpful video. Like I said, it keeps coming along, and stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll have some more coming on this pickup, so we'll try and put the new box in and give you a couple more updates what I plan on doing. I'm not going to give everybody surprises away. Have fun.